Getting to sub 10% body fat isn't as complicated as people make out. There isn't a special supplement you've got to start taking, okay? There isn't a certain training routine that you must be doing to get to sub 10% body fat. It comes down to these 5 habits the lads that actually get there do on a daily basis. And the guys that skip them are the ones that hit plateaus, get stuck and end up fucking it off. The first habit is going to be pre-tracking your calories for the next day before you go to bed. So many guys, they wake up, they get into work, they are rushed about, they're short for time, and they're just eating on the fly. They haven't got a clue what they're going to be eating, okay? The guys who get into the best shape, they plan this out. They don't wake up with not a clue what they're doing. They eat the same food on repeat, very similar foods, and they have it all planned out. Because when it's planned out, you can't miss, okay? It's going to meet your targets. You're not going to put yourself in those 50-50 split decisions where you're relying on your willpower or you're busy and rushed in the moment. So take all of the thought process out of it and apply that discipline that you think you need in the moment up front, the pre-tracking and pre-planning. Now, the more you do this, the faster it's going to get. It shouldn't take you any more than 2 minutes to copy and paste what you've had from the day before, work it all out, and then execute the plan when you wake up on that day. The hardest part of the diet doesn't become in the moment, okay? It becomes that 2 minutes the night before, which we can both agree isn't that much of a trade-off when you're trying to get sub 10% body fat. And there's a second habit that I use myself and with my leanest clients that they all have in common. Before I share that with you, make sure you click the link below, okay? There is a free calorie calculator which is going to help you set up your diet to get sub 10% body fat and fit that within your week. But habit number 2 is eating the same food day in, day out, which might sound boring, okay? But boring is good, okay? Lean into the boringness, okay? Because what boring is going to give you is going to give you a lot of structure. So if you eat 4 meals in a day, minimum eat 3 of them the exact same, okay? I recommend your pre and post gym meal being the same and maybe your breakfast. Variety is what makes you slip up, okay? Every time you have to make a decision, you're putting yourself in a 50-50. You're testing that willpower. There's a quote I love, and it's the guys with the most discipline use it the least. And what that means is they set up their environment to win. So lock in 3 out of 4 meals that you know fit your macros, okay? They give you a lot of volume. Meals you actually enjoy. You enjoy them, you're going to probably stick to them a lot better, okay? They got a decent amount of volume, hit your protein goals and eat them on repeat. Top tip, I would make sure there's stuff that you can repeat and then you can meal prep very easily because that's going to help you prepare, that's going to help you get ahead. Everything we're doing here is trying to take decision making out of it and make your life easier. It isn't about trying to work harder or who can track the most in a day. It's about who can do the least, who can make things as simple as possible. Now the next one will make you laugh because I completely ignored it for years and I used to think it was bullshit. And that habit is steps, okay? For years I used to think tracking your steps was a ball ache. I used to think it was stupid and steps didn't really add up to a lot of calories, and how wrong was I? And I'll hold my hands up to that. What I didn't really consider is that as you get further into a cut, okay, as your energy levels do start to drop down, you get more tired. What happens? You start to walk less, you start to move less, okay? So your neat energy expenditure drops. So naturally you start to burn a few less calories in a day. As well as that, your body weight drops, okay? So you're not walking around with as much weight anymore. So it's a double-edged sword. And because I used to disregard this and I didn't used to track this, naturally my expenditure would come down and I'd be eating the same amount of food. So my deficit would be decreasing and I couldn't work out why this was. The thing that catches people out with this is you don't even realize it's happening. You're not being lazy, your energy levels are just lower. So naturally you move less and it is subconscious. So to stop this from happening, set a step target and stick to it. Stick to it no matter what. Stick to it if it feels like you've got to walk a marathon when really it's only a couple of thousand steps. Stick to it if it's raining, stick to it no matter what. Now when I'm dieting, I like to get up and get a good chunk of my steps done nice and early in the day because it's going to stop any distractions cropping up in the day that might stop this from happening. Okay, but other easy wins, you can park further away when you go into the shops. You can walk around if you get a phone call. You can take the stairs instead of the lift. You want to try and stack some easy steps in there. I really like walking around in between my sets in the gym because I'm already there and I'm just going to be sitting on a bench. So you may as well get up and pace up and down a little bit. That's the difference between losing fat consistently and hitting plateaus. And I have to eat my own words on that one, I'll be honest. Tying in with expenditure, habit 4 is where a lot of guys lose expenditure in cardio and they don't even realize it. When you're doing your cardio, make sure you're tracking your heart rate. So important. The more cardio you do, the more body fat you lose, okay? The lighter you get and the fitter you get, your heart rate will start to drop in these cardio sessions, okay? How many calories you burn in a cardio session comes down to your heart rate, okay, and your body weight. So if your body weight's coming down and you're getting fitter, so your heart rate is dropping because your body's adapting, you're gonna start burning less calories in the same sessions you was doing. The 30 minutes that you was doing at the start, okay, you will not be burning the same amount of calories now. And most guys don't even realize this is happening because they aren't tracking their heart rate and they think 30 minutes is 30 minutes of cardio. So stop tracking the time you're doing on the cardio and start to track your heart rate and the calories burned. Apple Watches, Garmin's, things like that are going to tell you how many calories you burn in these sessions. Now, it isn't completely accurate, but if you're using the same thing every time, you're going to have that consistency with it. I like to set a minimum heart rate for cardio. So when you're doing your steady state cardio, a minimum of 130 to 140 beats. And that's going to make sure you burn a set amount of calories in those sessions, okay? You can start to add things like weighted vests, or obviously if you're on a machine where you can turn the intensity up, like a Stairmaster, you can turn the speed up a bit. And the last one is going to be one of the easiest and low-hanging fruits, but it's one of the things that people skip the most, okay? And that comes down to your sleep, because your sleep is everything when you're trying to get to a lean level of body fat, because it interferes with things that you don't realize, okay? Obviously, there's a one everyone knows, okay? Your recovery. Are you recovering well from your sessions, okay? You don't build muscle, you don't retain muscle in the gym, you do it when you're sleeping. So getting a good quality sleep is obviously massively important there. But your sleep is also going to be related to other things, okay? Your energy levels, okay? Movement in the day, all going to come down to how good of a night's sleep you got. But a massive one people don't realize is hunger, okay? And the studies out there that show the difference between people who get 8 hours sleep a night, okay, and 5 hours sleep a night, and the difference in calories they eat in a day is crazy. So make sure that you are prioritizing sleep, okay? When you get a poor night's sleep, okay, leptin, which is your hormone which is responsible for suppressing your appetite, is going to be lower. So you've got lower levels of leptin, which means that you're not going to be suppressing as much hunger, so you're going to be hungrier. So you're literally setting yourself up to fail. The biggest mistake people make is they have a bad night's sleep, so they smash caffeine. Okay, they smash caffeine throughout the day to help keep them going. They get to bedtime and the caffeine's still in their system, so they get an even worse night's sleep. The rule I have with sleep for my clients, okay, is 10-3-2-1. Cut off caffeine 10 hours before you go to bed. It has a half-life of about 6 hours. So if you have a coffee at 4 p.m, at 10 p.m, you're still going to have half that amount of caffeine flowing around your system. Okay, 3 hours before bed, you want to stop eating, okay, so your body can start to digest that food. 2 hours before bed, you want to try and cut off fluid so you're not wake up in the night to go to the toilet. And an hour before bed, you want to cut all blue light, you want to cut screen time, okay. Try and have a read. Telly's not the end of the world, okay. Cut off being on your phone. You've seen people wear the glasses. If you want to look like a bit of a twat, do that, but just try and put your phone down and wind down. You're also going to be stimulating your brain. Try not to watch serial killer documentaries or anything like that, because that's going to keep your brain engaged. Try and watch something nice and relaxing. In with getting a good night's sleep, you can add some supplementation here. So ashwagandha in the PM is a really good one to help you bring your cortisol levels down and chill a little bit more as you get into the evening. Okay, and then magnesium biglycinate is a very good sleep supplement. You want to take that about 60 minutes before you go to bed. All of the stuff we covered, they aren't hacks, they aren't secrets, okay? They're just the habits that guys that get to sub 10% body fat all seem to do, no matter where they come from, their backgrounds. They're very common traits that I see amongst my clients. Everyone else is looking for shortcuts. This is the boring stuff that actually fucking works. You can pick them up, you can start running with them, and you can start noticing the benefits almost straight away, and that is the beauty of them. Just a reminder, I've got a free calorie calculator in the link below, which will help you set your calories to get to sub 10% body fat, okay? If you want any additional support with that, there's also a one-to-one call booking link there. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.